In the great fabric of existence, there runs a principle so simple, yet so profound, so constant, yet so overlooked, that it may rightly be called one of the cornerstones of human life. This principle is known to earnest students as the law of attraction. It is not a new discovery, for wise teachers of every age have spoken of it in their own terms. But it is only in recent generations that it has been placed within the reach of the average man and woman, stripped of mystery, explained in the light of reason, and applied to the practical affairs of daily living. The law of attraction declares that thought is not an idle vibration confined to the chamber of the brain, but a living energy that radiates outward, touching and shaping circumstances, influencing minds, and drawing to itself the conditions that are like unto its nature. Simply stated, like attracts like in the realm of mind, and each of us lives surrounded by the manifestations of our habitual thought. Consider for a moment the countless individuals who, though endowed with health, talent, and opportunity, find themselves hemmed in by failure, poverty, or discord. On the other hand, observe those who, lacking extraordinary gifts or advantages, nevertheless rise to positions of influence, comfort, and harmony. The difference lies not in fortune, but in the hidden currents of thought which each has set in motion. One lives in an atmosphere of doubt, fear, and complaint. The other radiates confidence, expectation, and determination. The outer world conforms to the inner state, and what is held persistently in the mind becomes the experience of the individual. This is the essence of the law of attraction, and every life is a testimony to its operation. The mind is a magnet. Every thought is a vibration, and every vibration tends to attract to itself that which is of a similar nature. Just as a musical note sets into motion vibrations in a string tuned to the same pitch, so does every idea held with feeling awaken corresponding conditions in the outer world. Fear attracts that which is feared, resentment draws conflict, doubt calls forth obstacles. In the same manner, faith attracts opportunity, courage draws strength, love produces harmony. This is not reward or punishment, but the simple, impersonal operation of universal law. The law of attraction is as impartial as the law of gravitation. It does not ask whether your thought is beneficial or destructive, whether it will lead you upward or downward. It simply returns to you the fruit of your mental planting, just as the soil yields harvest to the seed, be it wheat or thorn. The great error of the multitude is to suppose that thought is secret and impotent, while action alone shapes destiny. Yet observe how action itself springs from thought, how no deed is performed until it has been first fashioned in the silent workshop of the mind. The builder does not raise a structure without a plan. The artist does not paint without an image in mind. The merchant does not trade without an idea of gain. Every enterprise, every achievement, every movement of human life is preceded by thought. To imagine, therefore, that thought is unimportant is to ignore the very root of all activity. But thought is more than a mere precursor of action. It is a force that acts in the unseen, drawing to itself events and opportunities that correspond to its nature. The individual who constantly affirms weakness, lack, or fear is, whether he knows it or not, sending forth invitations to circumstances of like character. He wonders why adversity pursues him, unaware that he has set in motion currents that cannot help but return in kind. He blames fate, chance, or the cruelty of others, not realizing that his own mental atmosphere has magnetized failure to his door. On the other hand, the one who affirms strength, abundance, and harmony finds life opening before him in ways he scarcely anticipated. Opportunities present themselves, helpers appear, conditions adjust themselves, and success flows naturally. It is not accident, but law. What one sows in thought, one reaps in circumstance. The law of attraction acts through the medium of the subconscious mind, that vast, silent realm within which accepts impressions without question and works ceaselessly to manifest them in the world of experience. The subconscious does not distinguish between constructive and destructive suggestions. It simply brings forth into expression that which is persistently impressed upon it. If you feed it with images of failure, it will create failure. If you feed it with images of success, it will open channels for success. The subconscious is like fertile soil. It will as readily bring forth weeds as grain, according to the seed sown. Therefore, the wise student watches carefully the thoughts allowed to take root, knowing that they will bear fruit after their kind. How then shall one employ this mighty law? The first step is to recognize its reality, to cease regarding life as a game of chance or a matter of arbitrary fate. Know once for all that your thoughts are the causes of your conditions, and that by changing your habitual mental states you can change the character of your life. Next, cultivate the habit of positive, constructive thought. Replace every image of fear with one of courage. Substitute every doubt with an affirmation of faith. Dissolve every resentment with the thought of love. Hold steadily in mind the conditions you desire to see manifested: health, abundance, harmony, success, and refuse to dwell upon their opposites. What you persistently think and feel you will surely attract. Affirmation is a powerful method of impressing the subconscious. By the deliberate, repeated declaration of the qualities desired, you set in motion mental forces that work ceaselessly toward their realization. When you affirm, "I am strong, I am healthy, I am prosperous, I am harmonious," you are not uttering idle words. You are planting seeds in the soil of the subconscious, seeds which will grow into corresponding conditions. But the affirmation must be more than mechanical repetition. It must be spoken with conviction, with feeling, with the recognition that it is a statement of truth. The subconscious responds not to empty phrases, but to the living vibration of belief. Visualization is another potent method of employing the law of attraction. Form in the mind a clear image of the condition you desire to manifest. See it as already accomplished, complete, real. Dwell upon it with feeling, with gratitude, with expectancy. The subconscious accepts the image as a reality and works to bring it forth. Many a great achievement has been preceded by a vivid mental picture held steadily in the imagination. The inventor sees his machine complete before he builds it. The architect beholds his structure before he lays the stone. The artist envisions his masterpiece before he paints it. Likewise, the individual who visualizes success, health, or harmony prepares the way for its manifestation. Some may object, saying, "But I have thought of wealth, and yet I remain poor. I have desired health, and yet I suffer." The answer is simple. Occasional wishes are not sufficient. The law of attraction responds not to fleeting fancies, but to habitual mental states. If your moments of desire are outweighed by hours of fear, doubt, or complaint, it is the latter that will prevail. The subconscious accepts what is impressed most frequently and deeply. Therefore, persistence is essential. Hold steadily to your vision. Refuse to allow opposing thoughts to linger. Each time a negative suggestion arises, replace it with the positive. In time, the constructive image will dominate, and the law of attraction will bring it into expression. The law of attraction is not confined to material gain, though it operates there as elsewhere. It governs health, relationships, opportunities, and the unfolding of spiritual growth. The one who habitually entertains thoughts of health will attract vitality and recovery. The one who dwells in love and goodwill will attract harmonious companions and conditions. The one who lives in gratitude will attract ever more reasons for thanksgiving. The one who aspires toward wisdom and illumination will attract teachers, books, and experiences that foster growth. The law is universal. It acts wherever thought is directed. Understand, however, that the law of attraction is not a means of escaping effort or responsibility. It does not dispense rewards to the idle dreamer who refuses to act. It works through channels, and action is one of its chief instruments. The individual who affirms prosperity must also act with wisdom, industry, and integrity. The one who affirms health must also obey the laws of hygiene. The one who affirms harmony must also practice kindness and self-control. Thought sets the forces in motion, but action provides the channel for their manifestation. Thought without action is like a seed unplanted, full of potential but without harvest. Action without thought is like a seed sown in barren soil, producing little. Thought and action together yield the abundant harvest. The atmosphere created by thought extends beyond the individual. Every mind is a center of radiation, and its influence touches others in ways often unseen. The one who dwells in fear spreads anxiety. The one who radiates confidence inspires trust. The one who lives in love diffuses harmony. This explains why certain individuals seem to draw others to them, why one person is welcomed with joy and another avoided. The mental atmosphere is felt, though not always consciously recognized. By cultivating positive thought, one not only shapes personal destiny, but contributes to the uplift of all within his sphere. Thus, the law of attraction operates not only in the individual life, but in the great web of human relations. When the student comprehends the law of attraction, he ceases to waste energy in complaint, fear, or self-pity. He recognizes that every adverse condition can be changed by altering his mental state. He no longer regards himself as the victim of chance, but as the master of his fate. He assumes responsibility for his thoughts, knowing that they are the causes from which effects proceed. He guards his mental garden with vigilance, allowing no destructive seed to take root. He fills it with images of health, strength, prosperity, harmony, and success. And he knows with certainty that, in time, these will manifest in his experience. Gratitude is a powerful amplifier of the law of attraction. To give thanks for blessings already received and for those yet to come is to affirm abundance and to open channels for more. Gratitude shifts the mind from lack to plenty, from complaint to appreciation, from doubt to confidence. The grateful heart magnetizes prosperity, health, and joy. Cultivate, therefore, the habit of daily thanksgiving. In the morning, give thanks for the gift of life and the opportunities of the day. In the evening, give thanks for the experiences and lessons received. In every circumstance, find something to appreciate. Gratitude transforms the whole mental atmosphere and attracts ever more reasons for thanksgiving. Faith is another indispensable factor. Without faith, affirmation and visualization are weak and ineffective. Faith is the conviction that the unseen is as real as the seen, that the seed will grow though buried in darkness, that the law will operate though the result is not yet visible. Faith sustains persistence. It strengthens courage. It banishes doubt. With faith, The student continues to hold his vision despite temporary setbacks, knowing that the law is certain. Without faith, he vacillates, permits fear to intrude, and thus neutralizes his own efforts. Cultivate faith, therefore, by reminding yourself daily of the law's certainty, by recalling past successes, and by affirming that what you desire is already on its way. Patience is also required. The oak does not grow in a day, nor does a life transform in a moment. The law of attraction operates according to natural rhythms and processes. Conditions must adjust, channels must open, opportunities must unfold. Impatience weakens the mental image, while patience strengthens it. Hold your vision steadily, with calm expectancy. Know that what you have sown will in due season bear fruit. Do not dig up the seed to see if it grows. Trust the process. Continue to affirm, to visualize, to act in harmony with your desire, and in time the harvest will appear. To apply the law of attraction effectively, one must live daily in accordance with its principles. Begin each morning with affirmations of strength, health, prosperity, and harmony. Visualize the day unfolding in accordance with your highest desires. Throughout the day, guard against negative thoughts. When they arise, replace them instantly with constructive ones. Treat others with kindness, for love attracts love. Perform your work with diligence, for action is the channel of manifestation. In the evening, review the day with gratitude, affirming that every experience contributes to your growth. Thus, day by day, you build a mental atmosphere that magnetizes success and happiness. The law of attraction is not a secret reserved for the few, but a principle open to all. It operates alike for rich and poor, educated and uneducated, saint and sinner. It is not withheld by favor nor granted by caprice. It is impersonal, impartial, and universal. Each man is free to use it for his uplift or his downfall. He who uses it ignorantly may attract discord and limitation. He who uses it wisely may attract harmony and abundance. The law itself makes no distinction. It simply returns to each the harvest of his thought. Therefore, take up the task of conscious mastery. Recognize the power of your thought. Refuse to dwell in fear or doubt. Fill your mind with images of health, strength, abundance, and harmony. Affirm daily the conditions you desire. Visualize them as already real. Act in harmony with your vision. Radiate love and confidence to all you meet. Give thanks for blessings received and for those on the way. Maintain faith and patience. Persist until the new mental habits are established and the harvest begins to appear. In so doing, you will prove for yourself the reality of the law of attraction, not as a theory, but as a living fact. Remember always, you are not a creature of circumstance, but a creator of circumstance. The forces of the universe are not hostile, but responsive. They respond to the vibrations of your thought, reflecting back the conditions you hold within. Change your thought, and you change your world. Elevate your thought, and you elevate your life. The law of attraction is the silent power within, awaiting your recognition and direction. Use it wisely, persistently, constructively, and it will lead you to health, prosperity, harmony, and spiritual growth. In its mastery lies the secret of happiness, success, and the fulfillment of destiny. In the great ocean of existence, there operates a principle so simple in statement, yet so profound in effect that it may rightly be called one of the master keys of life. This principle is the law of attraction, and it declares that thought is not a pale shadow in the mind, but a living force that radiates outward, drawing to itself conditions, people, and events that harmonize with its own nature. Like attracts like in the world of mind, and each man lives in an atmosphere of his own creation, surrounded by the visible outpicturing of his habitual thoughts. The majority of mankind drifts as though powerless, believing that fortune, chance, or external circumstance determine destiny. They see themselves as victims of environment, chained to poverty, disease, or discord by forces beyond control. Yet the earnest student learns that within the mind lies a silent power, subtle yet mighty, by which one may rise above limitation and become master instead of servant. The law of attraction is that power in operation, the principle by which thought takes form and weaves circumstance. To know this law is to awaken from helplessness to mastery, from blindness to vision, from despair to hope. Every thought is a seed, and every seed produces after its kind. The soil of life yields a harvest according to the planting. If the mind is filled with fear, doubt, resentment, and complaint, the harvest will be failure, discord, and limitation. If the mind is sown with courage, faith, love, and harmony, the harvest will be success, peace, and abundance. The law is impartial. It does not ask whether the seed is good or bad. It simply gives growth to that which is planted. Thus it is that men attract to themselves the very conditions they habitually dwell upon, though they may protest against them. The protest counts for nothing if the mind continues to cultivate the negative seed. The magnet offers a simple illustration. It draws to itself iron filings by virtue of its nature. It does not ask whether the filings are useful or useless. It simply attracts what is of like nature. The mind is a living magnet. Every thought held with intensity and persistence vibrates through the mental atmosphere, drawing to itself events and circumstances that correspond. Fear draws that which is feared. Resentment calls forth conflict. Doubt breeds obstacles. In like manner, faith attracts opportunity. Love calls forth harmony, and expectation brings results. It is not magic, but law, not accident, but certainty. Thought is creative energy. Modern science acknowledges that energy is never lost, never wasted. When a thought is formed, it becomes a vibration in the great ocean of mind. That vibration persists, acts, and returns. The one who lives in continual complaint sends forth waves that draw more reasons for complaint. The one who radiates gratitude attracts ever more reasons for thanksgiving. The one who habitually pictures himself as a failure attracts situations that confirm his belief. The one who steadfastly affirms success and sees himself as capable attracts assistance, opportunity, and results. The law of attraction works ceaselessly, whether understood or ignored. To use it wisely is to shape destiny. To neglect it is to drift. The subconscious mind is the instrument through which the law of attraction acts. It is the silent builder, the faithful worker, which accepts impressions without question and reproduces them in the world of experience. The subconscious does not ask whether the image presented is true or false, wise or foolish, helpful or harmful. It simply receives and acts upon what the conscious mind impresses. If you continually impress weakness, it will produce weakness. If you continually impress strength, it will produce strength. The subconscious is like rich soil. It will bring forth weeds or grain with equal readiness, according to the seed sown. Hence the wise student is vigilant, permitting no destructive suggestion to take root, but persistently planting thoughts of health, courage, abundance, and harmony. Affirmation is the deliberate act of planting the desired seed. Words are not idle sounds, but living forces when charged with conviction. To declare, I am strong, I am confident, I am prosperous, is to command the subconscious to manifest those conditions. But affirmation must be spoken with faith, with feeling, with the sense that it is already true in essence. Mechanical repetition is of little value. Living declaration impresses the inner mind and sets in motion the forces of attraction. When the subconscious is impressed with strength, it attracts circumstances that develop strength. When it is impressed with prosperity, it attracts opportunities for prosperity. Visualization is another potent means of employing the law. By forming a clear mental picture of the desired condition, you create a model which the subconscious accepts as a pattern. The inventor sees his machine complete before building it. The architect beholds the structure before laying the foundation. The artist envisions his canvas before touching the brush. Likewise, he who visualizes health, harmony, or success prepares the way for its manifestation. The subconscious, accepting the picture as real, works silently to bring it forth through channels seen and unseen. The clearer and more vivid the image, the stronger its attraction. Some may object, saying, I have thought of success, and yet I fail. I have desired health, and yet I suffer. The answer is simple. A passing wish or occasional thought is powerless against the habitual current of mind. The law of attraction responds to dominant mental states, not to fleeting fancies. If your moments of hope are outweighed by hours of fear, if your visions of health are overwhelmed by constant complaint of weakness, then the negative seed is the stronger. The subconscious accepts what is most persistently and deeply impressed. Therefore, persistence is essential. Hold steadily to the constructive image. Refuse to harbor its opposite. Each time a doubt intrudes, replace it with affirmation. Each time a fear arises, answer it with courage. In time, the new habit of thought will prevail, and the harvest will appear. The law of attraction is not confined to wealth, though it governs that as it governs all else. It applies to health, to relationships, to growth of character, to spiritual unfoldment. The man who thinks health attracts vitality, the one who thinks harmony attracts peace, the one who thinks love attracts companionship, the one who thinks wisdom attracts enlightenment. Whatever is habitually held in the mind is drawn into experience. The law is universal, impartial, and exact. It must be understood that the law of attraction is not a substitute for action. Thought sets the forces in motion, but action provides the channel through which they flow. The farmer may affirm abundance, but he must also till the soil. The student may affirm knowledge, but he must also study. The merchant may affirm prosperity, but he must also render service. The law does not dispense rewards to idleness. It works through natural channels, and action is one of its chief expressions. Thought and action must cooperate. As seed and cultivation produce harvest, the influence of thought extends beyond the individual. Every mind radiates an atmosphere felt by others. A cheerful mind inspires confidence. A gloomy mind depresses. A loving mind draws love. A suspicious mind repels it. Associations are formed not merely by words or deeds, but by the silent magnetism of thought. Many a friendship begins with a subtle attraction of mental atmosphere. Many a conflict begins with the clash of unseen vibrations. By cultivating positive thought, one not only shapes personal destiny, but contributes to the harmony of all within his sphere. The law of attraction is a social as well as an individual law. Gratitude is a mighty force in the operation of this law. To give thanks for blessings already possessed is to affirm abundance and attract more. Gratitude changes the focus from lack to plenty, from complaint to appreciation. It raises the vibration of the mind and draws ever more reasons for thanksgiving. Cultivate the habit of gratitude daily. Begin the morning with thanks for life and opportunity. End the day with thanks for lessons and experiences. Give thanks even in adversity, knowing that each difficulty contains a seed of growth. Gratitude is not only a virtue but a magnet. Faith, too, is essential. Without faith, affirmation is weak and visualization feeble. Faith is the conviction that the unseen is real, that the law is certain, that results are assured. Faith sustains persistence when results are not yet visible. Faith prevents the intrusion of doubt, which neutralizes effort. Cultivate faith by recalling the operation of law in small things. Recall how your mood influences events, how your expectation shapes outcomes, how your belief colors experience. Recognize that the same principle, intensified and directed, governs the greater affairs of life. Faith is the assurance that the seed will grow though hidden in darkness, that the law will act though unseen. Patience is likewise required. Growth is a process, not an instant miracle. The oak does not spring from acorn in a day. Conditions must adjust, channels must open, circumstances must align. Impatience weakens the mental image, patience strengthens it. Hold your vision steadily, with calm expectancy. Know that the law is working. Do not dig up the seed to see if it grows. Trust the process. Continue to affirm, to visualize, to act in harmony with your desire. And in due season the harvest will appear. The law of attraction is universal, impartial, and exact. It operates for all, whether known or unknown, used wisely or foolishly. He who dwells in fear will attract fear, though he protest against it. He who dwells